Okay. Listen up if you will, please. So, what are we doing today? Well, some of you I would hope will be doing some soldering. So that's those little kits that I gave you last week and the week before. So give that a bit of time, you'll get bored after about 45 minutes or get tired of it. But get into the soldering room, get those soldered up, see if you can get that working. It's quite a nice exercise and it's good for the soul to get things running properly, okay? If you've got it going, then we'll come around and have a look and admire your soldering. We'll give you some criticism about your soldering techniques. It might be perfect, it might be better than mine, but nevertheless we'll give you some feedback on your soldering. Does anyone in here want to have the tutorial that I run on the board? Oh, this is from the rest of the people. Do you want me to go through on the board producing a PCB again? Just as a reminder, hands up who don't. Ah, trick on. Hands up who don't, hands up who do. Gentleman there would like some help, or we can either sit next to him or... But everyone else is comfortable with how you go from your circuit diagram to your PCB, yeah? And you think you're grown up enough to have a go yourself and so on. Well, that's absolutely great, and we'll come and support you in a little while to try and help you do that. So, soldering, and remember, it's the metal detector. Now, those of you who have built it will probably realise it hasn't got a huge range, and what you would do inside a factory if you were working for a company or whatever, you'd realise that that probably isn't the best invention in the world and you want to extend the range. Anyone got any feelings about how you might do that? How would you make that work over a longer distance? There's two obvious ways. What generally happens with circuits that have got electricity flowing through them, and you buy yourself a car, you can take the engine out and put a bigger engine in and the car goes faster, right? Yeah. So you could have larger transistors, you could increase the power gain and all the rest of that. It's one way forward, I suppose. The other way is the sense coils on the end, and you'll notice with a real metal detector, the sense coil is actually that far around. And if you wind a very, very big coil, and it still goes around a ferrite, even on the end of the stick that you're riveting with, you're going to increase the sensitivity quite considerably. You don't need to do that for here, but remember that you've got to take that circuit diagram that's on the board book. It's on the assessment page. It's also contained in your kit, or should be. If it's not, it's available online from the Vellum people. You know what the dimensions of the components are like because you've soldered them in. Now is the time to try and make a PCB. So the next one, and this is assignment 1, is you've got to make a PCB for the metal detector. Yeah? Now, in the past, well, it wasn't the metal detector, but in the past I've seen people getting their circuit and turning it upside down and trying to re-engineer what someone else has already done. That's pretty silly if you think about it, because, well, it would be really difficult to duplicate anyway, and part of the fun of this is you're now in control of where the components go, aren't you? So you can place the components. So where the components go, you can place those components where you want. You can place them as close together, as far apart. You can put all the resistors up one end, you can put the coil up one end, the components up the other end. You can make a hole in it for a thumb holder or something like that. You can make it into a nice shape that you can grip in your hands. All of these things are possible if you're designing the circuit yourself, right? Right? So that circuit on the board, I want you to draw that up in multi-sim. Well, you've got to first. Draw that in multi-sim, export that to Ultiboard, and then play about with the track widths, the shape of the board, and everything that goes with it. Just stop this so that the file remains small.